Great. We're here with Sampo that finished with a great top 16 here at Worlds. So congrats.
Thank you very
And
much.
he has a deck profile for us today.
So I decided to play purple midrange. I just feel the most comfortable with it and decided that's my pick for the event. Wanted to go after the bit more greedier and softer format. So we played 3 Amethyst Sanctuaries. It's a reduction for your spirits and also a volcanic canyon, basically. Rotting Swamp draws an unfathomable, a huge amount of cards and gets your serpents back. Then for Magic, we were on 4 Court Heft, helps you close out games and convert your virtual card advantage from your hands to tempo and game shots. 5 Nexus removal spells to deal with yellow, and we had like in testing like Rocket Cities, stuff like that. So mostly wanted to deal with yellow.
Yeah.
And then defensive spells for 2 beam rifles and 4 ice shields. It's
Nice.
a card,
Yeah.
and that helps you like either kill them or like protect you from game shots. And then best Magic card in the deck, Deadly Balance. Usually trades 1 for 1, sometimes does even better things. Then for spirits, we are on 4 Dragonaga, one of the best spirits, best 3 drops in the game. I think it's one of the best purple cards. Usually it draws anywhere from between 2 to 3 cards and kills an opponent at least a 4 drop. For Agrodale, usually draws 1 card and kills a 4 drop. So then 3 Beldegors and 3 Costume Artists. As you can see from all the 3 drops, they basically all of them help me go +1, and most of them have curse, kill opponents mid-game units. Then we're on 4 Lamorax. I think it's best purple 4 drop, helps you recycle your endgame units and your lower cost units to help you keep on the pressure. Then 4 Blacklands. It's a really good card. Then the top end, 3 Phalanx and 2 Nemesis. They do the same. They have the same purpose in the deck. So basically, they're supposed to trade 1 for 2 with your opponent's cards, and you use these to. You usually kill their mid-game units with these, and you kill their end-game units with these.
Nice.
And that's basically how you do it.
Awesome.
You mostly play the deck aggressively, and you force them to start trading with you. After which you start generating value with Rotting Swamps, Nemesis draws, Costume Artist draws, Lamorak additions back.
Awesome.
That's the main deck.
Great. What do we have on the side then?
Yes, in the side we are on the Bacchus Curse Dragon combo.
Sure.
It's mostly to deal with Dermdine Enterprise fields that you cannot get through in other ways. Then we are on Meduk. Those come in mostly against red and white, against some and some smack decks. Basically, this is a card that can win the game alone, and that's really good. Then counter swords. We use this against red, smag, and if there's 5 minutes left on the clock when the round 3 starts.
Yeah, I had to as well.
Yeah. And then beam rifle and feral slash. Feral slash for yellow, and beam rifle if we need to. If we're playing like red mid-range, something other aggressive decks where we want to tempo.
Best matchup and worst matchup?
I think purple's a very like 50-50 deck. I would say like my best matchup would probably be, what would I say, like the greedier like snag lists that people are playing. You can usually force them to, like as an example, the list that won the event with like, I think this does very well into it. Like they don't really deal with continuous curse units that well. And I think worst match up, I would say, is yellow. It's still not like you're highly unfavored because of the like Nexus pops. But it's still like sometimes they stick a Nexus and start generating advantage, and it gets pretty rough from there.
Yeah. MVP of the deck? Favorite card?
I think we have 2 MVPs, and I think they're the least played. Of course, like this is insane, this is insane, this is insane, this is. But like I think the MVPs were Amethyst Sanctuary and Viper Dragon. What Amethyst Sanctuary basically does is that it lets you see your like good cards a lot more. So you find more ice shields than your opponent does, you find your deadly balances, you find more nexuses, you find your beam rifles against yellow, you find your nexus pops, you find your end game, you find your side deck cards post board.
Just to remind, like, what does it do?
Yeah.
What does it work?
So during either player's attacks, when a spirit is destroyed, this can be your spirit or your opponent's spirit, you get to look at the top card of your deck and either keep it on top or discard it to the graveyard. This means that you're basically drawing a card. So you're drawing a card closer to your cards that you actually want to see. So you see like a Aglavale on the top of the deck, but you're like, that's not an ice shield, so ship it back. And Falung's a great defensive unit. You can just leave it on board, and it's hard to deal with. Like they usually lose at least 1 unit to it if it's the defensive unit. And offensively, you can start sending Dragon Nagas and the Falung and Black Lances to your opponent's creatures after you get a tempo. And you try to like get your opponent into a resource-starved state, and then just build up advantage from that point.
Nice.
Yeah.
Last question is, if you would re-enter the tournament with all this knowledge, what would you change?
I think what I would change is somewhere along 1 Burning Force away, and I would have 1 more Amethyst Sanctuary.
Oh, wow.
And then I would want to play a 2nd Core Theft, which I think would be, one of the 3 drops.
Oh, you would drop a spirit for a spell.
Yeah, I would go somewhere along these lines.
Interesting.
Because we get a new Nexus, so we have 1 more permanent.
Yeah.
So we have core reductions, and we put in 1 more spell to convert our card advantage into game shots.
Makes sense.
I think that's what I would do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Any shout out, anything you
Shout outs to Kieran McNeil, also on the Nexus. We tested a lot with that together. To Aaron. Aaron was also testing with us, and of course Aatu, my favorite Finnish Battle Spirits player. There's not a lot of us. Emil, if you're watching this, you're also great.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's the shout out.
Amazing.
Shout outs to everyone on the Nexus and the boys WhatsApp group.
Thank you, Sampo, and great job again. Congrats.
Thank you very much.